Boo-doo-doo. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo, 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 boo-boo-boo-boo-boo. That thing with James, that thing with James, that thing with James, that thing with James, that thing with James. That's me. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm James, your host, and beside me is
Emily.
And we're back. We're going to do some more erotic fan fiction because I had fun reading it last time. I don't know about you. Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, people they're creative.
We were reading some X-Files erotic fan fiction.
Triple XX Files.
And we also went through some pretty, gnarly Peppa Pig stuff that I just did not drive with. It was pretty fucking dark. Like a little too dark. But today, I found some different erotic fan fictions. Of course, there are websites devoted solely to it. Does that surprise you?
No.
It doesn't surprise me either.
No, erotica is like a huge genre.
I know that I've read so much about self-publishing ebooks and stuff like that, and erotica, especially for middle-aged and older women, is like the market you want if you plan on actually making some money.
Yeah.
In ebooks. So and it's even in further niches. Like your grandma is probably into some real S&M niche stuff, and that was probably sparked by 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
I remember when that movie came out, my sister told me I looked like, I always forget his name, Superman.
Yeah.
What's the actor's name?
He used to be really hot.
Who played Superman? Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister told me I looked like Henry Cavill because she was all about 50 Shades of Grey. And I was all not about that because I'm like, this is just another Mormon woman.
Yeah.
This is like the twilight of, kink. This isn't even really... This is McDonald's kink.
Yeah.
This is done by like a Mormon or something. And then my sister was all about it. And I'm like, I don't feel good with you saying that. And then she told me I look like the guy from 50 Shades of Grey. And I was like, no. Do not say that to your brother.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Do not say that to your little brother, okay? 22 years younger. Do not say that. I wonder, what did Henry look like? Henry Cavill. I mean, he was really hot.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. What did he look like back then? Let's take a peek. Let's see. It's all just pictures of him since he became Superman. Okay. That's him.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I take it as a compliment, but it's also... Don't say that to your brother.
I told you look like him too.
Yeah, I know you told me I look like him, and I'm happy to look like Henry Cavill, but I don't want a family member to tell me I look like Henry Cavill in a story, in a movie in which that's titillating my family member who's telling me I look like the person who's titillating them. Don't fucking say that to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird. Don't do that. Thank you. Now, before we get too far, quick business. Every week I put out bonus episodes, a new bonus episode every single week, and you can access these at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. So not only will you be helping me keep this fucking ship afloat and keep this show rolling and keep this truck on the road, trucking, trucking, I had a Monster Energy, okay, so deal with it. Patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. subscriptions start at only $5 a month, and you can get access to the new bonus episode that comes out every week, plus the catalog of all previously recorded and released bonus episodes. Show your appreciation. And there are different tiers in which I offer different benefits, such as shout-outs, text shout-outs, verbal shout-outs. I'll even send you a handwritten thank you letter depending on your subscription level. That's patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Subscribe now. You can find me on social media. My handle is @JamesJAsher. I used to be on TikTok, and my phone just has been fucking up, and I've been putting off having to, actually do a hard factory reset because I'm scared that I'm gonna lose some shit, even though I've backed up my phone. But yeah, @JamesJAsher is where you can find me on social media. You can email me at thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. That's if you have any business inquiries, if you have a suggestion of a story or subject you'd like me to cover on the show, or if you just want to say I look like Henry Cavill in 50 Shades of Grey, email me, thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. And you can also check out my very lonely and neglected subreddit r/thatthingwithjames. I welcome bad memes and shit posts. I like this stuff. r/thatthingwithjames. Business is over. Let's move on with the show. So yeah, last week we read some X-Files erotica fan fiction. And I just sort of stumbled across it because I was looking for a different story, but I found this and I was like, well, this is a happy accident. How about that? Speaking of happy accidents, there's this, there's a new, I think it's on Netflix documentary about Bob Ross saying greed and unhappy accidents. And I don't know that I want to watch it because I don't want my illusion broken about him.
I thought it was about people trying to exploit him.
Oh, really?
That's what I thought it was. I don't know.
Well, then maybe it is.
Maybe it's not.
I believe it.
Yeah.
The story has it that he used to be in the military. He was a drill instructor, and he didn't like how he felt. Just yelling and cursing at people all the time. So he devoted his life to doing better personally after he got out.
He took care of a lot of animals.
Yo, when he brings in the little baby squirrels and stuff, I love that shit. He's like, all right, hold up, everyone. Hold on. I know we're recording the show, but check this out. I got a baby squirrel. Look at this little buddy. I love cute. That shit.
James, you can get a baby squirrel. We just have to get into the attic. I'm sure there's baby squirrels in there.
Yeah, when we first moved into this apartment months ago, we heard a lot of running because we're on the top floor, and we heard a lot of running above our ceiling, and it was like, is there someone living in the attic? Well, there's not someone, but someone's. Several squirrels.
Giant gray squirrels.
Big gray?
Yeah, they're gray. I think they're called gray squirrels.
Well, the ones I've been seeing are regular squirrel color.
Yeah.
Around here.
Okay.
So, rats are gray.
No, rats are brown.
Rats can be brown, black, gray, white, pink, elephants. You lost the game. So, anyway, what the fuck was I talking about?
Squirrels and how refreshing Bob Ross is. Yeah,
and I bring all this up because it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're about to do. I found some more erotic fan fiction because it felt good to read this stuff. It was fun, and I found a website that had actual archives of erotic fan fiction written about individual celebrities or groups of celebrities. Of course, there's some Harry Styles stories.
I mean, don't blame him.
Why wouldn't there be?
He's good looking.
Well, I am disappointed. I'm very disappointed, and I'm sure they exist on some other website, but on this particular website, which is wait. It's celeb.adult-fanfiction.org. Easy for me to say. Celeb.adult-fanfiction.org. And they didn't have any Nicolas Cage erotica.
Can't imagine why.
It's pretty fucking dumb that they don't. There needs to be Nicolas Cage erotica. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. I'm looking it up. What was that sound? Nicolas
Probably downstairs.
Cage erotic fan fiction. I just misspelled all this stuff.
Ultimate Shrek by Nic Cage.
Oh, wait. Ultra Shrek? Oh, what the fuck is this? Folks, I had some different stories lined up, but I think we might have just been hijacked here. How many chapters are there? 4 chapters? What the fuck is this? And it's romance drama. People. Let's back up real quick, okay? So I was looking for some different resources for fan fiction, specifically erotica, because I find that shit funny. And of course, there is a Cosmopolitan article called 10 of the best sex fan fictions out there on the internet, published on June 10th, 2020. And there was a list of things like number 1, we've got Harry Potter. We have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Killing Eve. Never watched it.
I've watched some of it.
We've got Twilight. We've got Walking Dead, Harry Styles, of course, which apparently is a whopping 295 chapters across 3 books.
I mean...
And 1.9 billion raids. Holy shit.
That's a good-looking man.
Let's read the breakdown of this. After, that's the title, After is an absolute mammoth feat of fan fiction. The Harry Styles fanfic, which started life on Wattpad, has a whopping 295 chapters across the whole 3 books and 1.9 billion reads across the 3 Wattpad novels. Plus, it's now been made into a book series and a film, making its writer, Anna Todd, a millionaire. Holy shit. Yeah. Makes us want to take up a side hustle. After's protagonist, Tessa Young, a college student whose life gets turned upside down when she meets the rude and mysterious Harry, renamed as Hardin for the published novel. And of course, things don't stay PG for very long.
Why'd you make him rude? Like, he does not rub me as a rude man.
I'm sure you'd like him to rub you. That's okay. You can say it. Oh, wow. Yes. I found it. It's here. You can read it online at Wattpad. That's wattpad.com. Shit. We might have to read that at some point. Did you know, speaking of erotica...
Did you sex out of the Shrek Nic Cage?
No, okay. I did not. Did you know that Anne Rice wrote erotica?
I mean, does that surprise me? No.
But you've never even read any Anne Rice.
I started to.
Yeah, starting to is not finishing.
Wait, was it the Sleeping Beauty one? I read that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote the Sleeping Beauty quartet.
Yeah.
I remember in college, I was at a friend's apartment and I saw Sleeping Beauty. I didn't realize it was Anne Rice writing under a pseudonym, but I picked up one of the books and I cracked it open in the middle and it was describing in very vivid detail one dude licking another dude's nutsack. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Like, this doesn't sound like a children's book at all.
No. And then she told me it was Anne Rice and I was like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I forgot what her pseudonym was. Oh, A.N. Roquelaire.
All right.
Well, that aside, let's just fucking read this Nicolas Cage thing, because I did not expect to find this, and here it is. This is a blessing. and there's 4 chapters. This is at fanfiction.net, which is where we were when we were reading the stuff last week. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is entitled Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage by Best Fanfic 1110. The description is Nic Cage has to have so much sex with Shrek in order to save the world. But can he do it in time? Rated M for mature. It's written in English, romance, drama, 4 chapters, 3,248 words with 24 reviews. It's been favorited 5 times and followed 4 times. Originally published in 2014, updated in January 9th, 2015. Okay, so it's a little old, but here we go. Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage. Foreword by the author. This is a bit of a passion project that I've been working on for a while now. I do plan on releasing more chapters if there is enough interest. Hopefully, the next couple of chapters will be longer, but here's chapter 1 with a sample of what's to come. Also, how did you find this? Seriously, what were you searching? Chapter 1. Let me check my volume here. Okay. Chapter 1. Shrek woke up in his swamp and stretched his large onion odored. Oh, okay. Let me start over. Shrek woke up in his swamp and stretched his large onion-odored muscles. He stretched down, and his gorgeous, perfect ass popped way in the air. Meanwhile, in the cage, Nick awoke and underwent a similar routine, but without the onion love. Suddenly, Nick felt a strange tingling sensation in his buns, and he knew it was time. He expanded his dong for good measure and rocketed off to the swamp, the place that would soon be his lover's final resting place. Nick destroyed Shrek's roof like he would soon destroy his anus. "Shrek," he said, tipping his fedora and smirking. "You know why I'm here." What the fuck does Shrek sound like? He's got a Scottish accent, right? Haggis, you deny senpai, Nick-san, I am ready. Nick stripped off his fancy leather coat and slicked back his already incredibly slick hair. He slipped off his plain white shirt seductively and revealed abs that were rock hard. He slips off his fiery jeans and reveals elegant, loving thighs. His gigantic peen peaked just over his underpants, which he sensuously ripped from his waist, revealing a gorgeous naked bod. "Get nude for me, Shrek. You sexy ogre, you." Yes, senpai." He levitated into the air, and a sensual glow emanates. Dude, the fucking the tense just keeps switching like mid-sentence, for Christ's sake. He levitated into the air, and a sensual glow emanates from his body. When the glowing subsides, his precious curves and beautiful penis hole were...
I've never heard of a penis hole as being beautiful, but okay.
Maybe they're into sounding. Do you know what sounding is?
I don't know.
You put a metal rod up the urethra.
Ugh, that does not sound pleasant.
His beautiful penis hole were revealed in all their glory. "Shrek, your body is beautiful, but don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are a national treasure. You're so pretty, I just want to take your face off and keep it in my house."
What?
"Oh, senpai," said Shrek. It's getting hot in here. We're going to need some Con Air. Okay? Nick lay down on top of Shrek, caressing his hairy body. Your films are inspiring. He began to slowly insert his 13-inch member into Shrek's urethra.
Okay.
Like how gay sex really happens. Okay. Shrek let out a pleasured gasp and accepted it with pride. Nick thrusted harder and faster until Shrek's onion spilled all over Nick's huge cock with the true ogre's roar. Senpai! Nick's huge fingers wrapped around Shrek's mouth. Shh, now it's my turn. He then slapped his large penis onto Shrek's gorgeous belly rolls and rubbed them all over. Oh, Nick gasped. He began to belly fuck Shrek so hard that his urethra began to engulf him.
What? I don't know how urethra engulfs you, but that seems like a medical condition for sure.
He began to belly fuck Shrek so hard that his urethra began to engulf him. That's like Cell's tail and DBZ just sucking up whole bodies. Nic Cage got a cell-tail dick. Shrek said. Nick pumped harder and faster, faster and faster. Nick was so infatuated with pleasure, he felt his rainbow cum.
What? Wait, Nicolas Cage's rainbow cum. Okay.
This is the best thing I've ever read. I've got this microphone sitting on top of my omnibus of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, plus all of the appendices and illustrations. And this story we're reading is better than what this microphone is sitting on right now. Sorry, Tolkien. Step aside because best fanfic 1110 just entered the room. Wink. Where were we?
Rainbow cum.
Yeah, where the fuck is
It's
that?
right there.
Oh,
Shrek with
okay.
it.
Shrek said. Nick pumped harder and harder, faster and faster. Nick was so infatuated with pleasure, he felt his rainbow cum begin to shoot out. Shrek with it.
What?
Because he had engulfed Shrek into his enlarged
Into his
urethra. And then he blasted off. It probably tastes like cotton candy. Rainbow cum and shot Shrek out like a stone. What is that? Gallstone. Yeah.
Kidney stone. You can have all sorts of stones.
Yeah. Piss stone. You piss it out. And literally shot Shrek out with it. He came so fast and so hard that Shrek was literally blown away. Not figuratively, like, oh wow, that's really cool, I'm blown away. I mean, literally, he was sent into space with the force of Nicolas Cage's ejaculation. Shrek floated far away, where he landed on the moon. Nick lay naked on the floor, knocked unconscious by sheer pleasure. Nick woke up to the still spunk-covered swamp shack. The ritual had not been completed. As happy as he was that Shrek, his lover, had been spared, he knew that Shrek had to die for the good of the universe. Will Nick and Shrek ever be reunited? Will the ritual be completed? Will they fuck really sexy again? 'Cause I want that to happen. Find out in the next chapter of Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage. Okay.
That was a lot.
I think this might very well be one of the best things I've ever read on the internet, and I wanna gas this up.
Yeah.
I want this person to get this fucking recognition because this is gold. This is better than gold. This is premium platinum. You know about premium platinum?
Only from you.
Okay, let's move on to Chapter 2. This one, it doesn't matter. Foreword by the author. Chapter 2, Revenge. So it looks like I'm really doing this thing. Chapter 2, ladies and gentlemen. I'm currently working on chapters 3 through 6. With plans on doing more, maybe 10. Anyway, without further ado, the saga continues. Chapter 2. Shrek awoke blinded by chocolate-flavored rainbow jizz.
Cotton candy.
I knew it was going to be some kind of sweet taste. Because Nicolas Cage probably has tasty cum.
I doubt it.
I'm not going to say I know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure he's got tasty cum. You can take that to the spank bank. Shrek awoke blinded by chocolate-flavored rainbow jizz. He wiped the sticky substance off his face, confused by the fact that he was still alive. Had Nick spared him? He groggily looked around to see a vast plain of gray rocks and mountains. He was on the moon. He stretched and took a hearty ogre onion belch. He knew that he had to reconnect with Nick if the universe was to be spared a horrible, gruesome, and explosive death. But how could he ever even plan on escaping the moon? He had tried using stretcholocation to find where Nick was, but he remembered that his powers were useless without onions. Meanwhile, back at the swamp, Nick was trying desperately to take flight, but the super spunk that knocked Shrek off the face of the earth had taken too much out of him. He's probably scared, looking for onions to power his abilities, Nick thought to himself. I have to find him. The Cage knew that there was only one person who could help him reconnect with his boy toy. He sighed. He had promised himself long ago that he would never return to that place, the home of his ex. He set out on foot for his trek to the house of his once lover, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes!
As soon as I looked over at Sonic the Hedgehog is what I was seeing, and I was like, uh-oh.
Nick is exes with Sonic. Okay, let's go. Sonic the Hedgehog. Green Hill Zone. Green Hill Zone was a place that had a lot of green hills. There was green grass as far as the eye could see, as well as hills in there.
Okay.
Suddenly, Knuckles the Echidna came. Knuckles, who is soon to be played by Idris Elba.
Yeah.
FYI, folks, Idris Elba is going to be the voice of Knuckles. Nick, I came... Nick, I thought we told you not to come around here anymore. I need to see him, Nick replied. No, you don't. He's... wait, where am I? No, you don't. He's been a wreck ever since you left him for that sexy beast, Shrek. He's still recovering. It's important. He's the only one for the job. All right, but don't say I didn't warn you. Knuckles led Nic Cage to Sonic's house. He opened the door and found Sonic bent seductively over the stove. His shoes glistened as light flooded into the room upon their entry. Knuckles, you're back! Sonic gasped. Nick? There was a long... Yeah, that's Sonic's voice. There was a long and uncomfortable pause. The sexual tension was palpable. Sonic slammed his fist on the table, holding tears back. I thought I told you never to come back. I wanted to apologize. I need you. For what? For that green-skinned skank Shrek? What the fuck do you think I would do for Wait, where am I? Why the fuck do you think I would do something for that whore? I'm cashing in that favor. Sonic sighed. Cage had helped him in his time of need. There was no denying that. He looked at the ground. Let's talk in private, he muttered. Sonic led Nick into his bedroom and locked the door. Look, I really am sorry for breaking your heart, Nic said after a pause.
Yeah, you should be. The breakup was worse than Sonic fucking '06.
Sonic, he stepped closer. I need you. Sonic was surprised to hear this. He created a devious scheme. He would use Nic's classically vulnerable state to make love with him one more time.
Is that so? Well, if you really want that from me, you'll have to give me something in return.
Yes, anything for Shrek. What is it?
Your body.
Nic needed to think this over a bit. On the one hand, he didn't want to cheat on his lover, his ex, with his ex no less. On the other hand, the universe would not be let down on his watch, and Sonic was the only one who could help him. Okay. Sonic burst internally with excitement.
Just what I wanted to hear, big boy.
He dug into his fur and revealed his fully erect hedgehog penis.
Take off those clothes. Let's get that bird free.
Ha 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 ha. Obscure Nic Cage reference, bitch. That was in parentheses. Nic stripped down, revealing his huge cock for the second time this week. Bend over, he said.
Oh no,
Sonic replied.
Now it's your turn to get on bottom.
He threw Nic onto the bed and inserted his penis into Nic's asshole. As soon as he penetrated, it enlarged to twice its size. Oh my God, Nic exclaimed. Oh, I love it in my ass.
Oh, that's right. You're my little bitch tonight, Nicholas. You filthy whore.
I hope he's read this.
I guarantee he hasn't. Okay, not hugely into that discipline stuff.
Sure, sorry,
he said, kissing him on the cheek lightly. He rolled his dick around at the speed of sound.
Oh, fuck, Nic, I'm gonna come.
Oh, yes, Sonic. Do it inside my butthole, he said passionately.
Gotta go fast.
Sonic exclaimed as his quicksilver cum shot through Nic's digestive system and shot out his mouth. Blah, said Nic. Sonic collapsed onto Nic's back. Nic looked up at him and smiled. Don't tell Shrek, he said. He was trapped in the paradise of knowing that Sonic had boned him so goddamn hard, like, wow.
That really was good,
said Sonic.
Fine, I'll help you.
Thank you, said Nic. Sonic, when this whole thing blows over, I want to move back in with you. Sonic looked tearily in his eyes.
I like that,
he said. Will Sonic and Nic find Shrek? Will Shrek ever get back from the moon? Who will show up in the next thrilling chapter of Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage, Cage?
This is an experience for sure.
This is the best experience. It's so good that I think I need to go wank. So let's take a quick break and I'll be back. See you in a second. And we're back. Wow, I wonder if the microphone picked up the neighbor boy. Wow, he is going nuts right now.
Yeah.
In Mom's home, what the fuck is she doing?
Not paying attention.
Hmm?
Not paying attention.
Yup. Okay. Chapter 3. Sorry if you're picking up a bunch of noise in the background. Can't control the neighbors. Okay, chapter 3. Sorry. And also, if Sonic comes back, I'm going to be doing a different voice for Sonic. Just because that last voice was kind of tearing up my throat, and I needed to get louder than I want to get in order to do that voice. Actually do it. So anyway, chapter 3. Shrek yawned. The moon was not his swamp. It was a very different place. He looked down at the flat earth, because earth is flat, damn it, and sighed. When will I ever see my Nick-san again? He whispered softly to himself. But something had changed. He heard a faint jingling noise. What's that? He said. His mushroom-shaped ears perked. He looked down and saw a magical sleigh propelled by reindeer. Who could it be? He shook with anticipation as the sleigh came in for a landing, and out popped none other than Santa Claus himself. Ho, ho, ho! This is what makes Christmas special. And then he left. Shrek let out a hearty ogre laugh. What a guy! He wandered the surface of the moon and came across a large crater. In the center was a rocket. But what was a rocket doing on the moon of all places? Shrek cautiously approached the rocket, wide grin plastered permanently across his face. His smile faded into a frown, and he saw a small women surrounding the ship. Hello, little friends, he bellowed loudly. The small women looked up suddenly. Who are you? They said in unison. Shrek smirked. His face cast in shadow for just this line. Don't you know? I'm Shrek. They gasped, although in reality they had no clue who he was. How could I get you fine ladies to grant me access to your ship? They smirk simultaneously. We have some ideas. In unison, they stripped down, revealing their 2.5-inch breasts, which was impressive considering they were about 3 inches tall. With a whoosh, the blood drained from Shrek's head, and his gargantuan ogre penis became rock hard almost instantly. They used the ladders on the rocket to climb into his various orifices. Suddenly, his throat, urethra, and anus were clogged with very sexy woman ladies having a good time. Shrek let out a loud ogre roar as the ladies filled him with their bodies. Their laughter and moans echoed through Shrek's body, ricocheting off his bones and right up to his skull. Shrek's entire being became filled with pleasure as the women tickled the inside of his massive cock and balls. He could feel them scissoring each other inside of his balls and trachea.
What?
He breathed in and out heavily to pleasure the women inside his lungs as much as possible. Wow, they really got it all up in him. Mm-hmm. They got inside his lungs.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good thing.
He could feel them. Okay. Oh, with one final burst of pleasure, Shrek's onion-flavored jizz began to shoot out from his cock, sucking all the women out with it. They lied in a puddle of his tasty spunk and licked themselves off. So, how about now? Shrek joked. They all laughed as they inserted the rocket into Shrek's anus and shot off back to his swamp. What could happen next? Will Nick find Shrek wandering the earth? Will Shrek survive the landing? Find out in the thrilling next chapter of Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage. I wonder, are there comments for this somewhere?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't really see it either, unfortunately. I would absolutely love to read some comments for this stuff. And then chapter 4, unfortunately, is the last one that was published. There's no 10 chapters. But this looks like it's a bit of a longer one compared to the others. So here we go. Foreword by the author. So I didn't write much over Christmas. I was too busy jacking off to my own work. In any case, I hope you enjoy this chapter. Really, I had the most fun writing it, so I hope you have the most fun reading it. Chapter 4. Nick and Sonic had been walking for days. Things had changed between them. They hardly knew each other anymore. It was not the days of Sonic. The vast desert expanded far beyond the horizon. Okay, and here's where I'm going to do a different Sonic voice so I don't blow out my throat. How much longer? Sonic panted. That's the Sonic voice now. How much longer? Sonic panted. Until we find him. About as long as my humongous cock, what? Nic replied through a dehydrated haze. Sonic smirked and looked down. Then we have a long ways to go. The two ex-lovers continued their trek through the desert when Nic passed out suddenly. Cage! Sonic exclaimed. Are you okay? Sonic ran super duper speedy to his position. He knelt down and stroked his gloved hand across Nicholas's sweat-coated face. Fuck. Nic, can you hear me? Sonic lay his head on Nic's stomach and began to cry. Except there were no tears because of the fact that there was not a drop of water in his body.
I think he'd be dead at that point.
Vision fading, Sonic uttered one last thing before slipping into an eternal slumber. I was too slow. Sonic's heart slowed to a halt, and he passed away. The cage, still breathing and alive, woke up days later to the rotting corpse of what used to be his lover. Sonic! It was nighttime, and the desert was cold. He folded his arms for warmth. After rubbing one out onto Sonic's lifeless face as a sign of respect.
Yeah.
I think we should do that as a culture. I think we should set aside this culture war and once and for all come together over the corpses of our loved ones at funerals.
No, thank you.
By the way, this is an explicit podcast. If you're a child, you should not be listening to this without your parents present to explain to you what's going on.
I'd say probably not ever, but you know.
It's okay to listen to this if you're listening with your parents.
I don't know.
You see, back in my day, we used to have a little gaming system called the Sega Genesis, and on it was the genesis of the best video game series in video game history. That would be the Sonic the Hedgehog series. And one of the things you have to do is jaculate on your past loved ones. So that's what's going on here. And Nicolas Cage is the best actor. No joke. No cap. No cap, as the Zoomies say. Onward. If I can find where I was. Let me find it. After I see where it is. After rubbing one out onto Sonic's lifeless face as a sign of respect, Nic continued walking through the now cold and windy sea of sand. Through the sand whipping across his face, Nic could see a faint light in the distance, eyes widening, but not too much where he could get sand in his eyes. He began to run to the source. After what seemed like hours, he approached a small campsite. Sitting at the fire was a strange, tall robot. Hello, Nic said. I come in peace. Oh, replied the robot. Then tell me, traveler, why have you come? I need to find a friend. My name is Nicholas Cage. The robot stood up, towering over him. She extended a hand for shaking. Samus. The two sat back around the fire. You know, I used to be a bounty hunter myself, Miss Aaron. Really? Samus responded. Then you must know a thing or two about acquiring a bounty. Nic looked at her confused for about 1 whole minute. I don't know. Like the booty. Bounty equals booty. Let's just have butt sex. Samus said. I think it's Samus or Samus. I never knew how to pronounce it. From Metroid.
Oh, that's what this is. I was like saying here, like, who's Samus?
It's that
Seamus.
it's the chick from Metroid.
Okay.
Okay. A gaping hole opened in the rear of Samus's mechanical suit, making space for her bumhole and vagine. Cage unleashed his beast of a cock once more and pushed Samus onto the ground. He thrust a mighty thrust and engaged himself in coitus with Samus. The glass on Samus's visor fogged up as she panted along with each of his thrusts. Her boobs were jiggling a lot, but you couldn't see them because she was still wearing her robo armor. I promise, they were like huge. Nicholas's cock pounded onto her hole like no cock had ever pounded before. As Nick pleasured himself with her body, he had a sudden moment of self-awareness. Why? What reason did he have to be engaging in intercourse with Samus Aran? That moment quickly passed as his cock exploded through Samus's mouth and crashed through the visor. Whatever. I love that they just put in a whatever there. You know, this kind of storytelling is brave, and they're doing it with such a nonplussed attitude. I have to hand it to fanfic writer 1110110. This person was the person for the story. And I like to think that it was a golf dad. I want to think this was a golf dad. You know, he lives in Houston and the suburbs of Houston. He's got a wife who he's had the ick for like decades. He's got 2 shithead kids. And he just wants a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. So he like sneaks into his study late at night around 3 a.m. when everyone's knocked out. He smokes a joint and he writes this stuff. And he's about 53 years old.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
He has a goatee. I'm just going to leave it at that. And cargo shorts, of course. He's a golf dad. Come on. Whatever. He thrust more and more, Samus loving every second. As he reached climax, the jizzaroo shot out of her mouth and onto his face, where he drank every last drop. As he swallowed, they parted. That was really sexy. Oh, wait. This is Nick. That was really sexy and arousing, Nick said to his recent sexual partner. Recent? It's like immediate. Recent sexual partner. The hole in her suit closed. I suppose we should get going if we want to find Shrek. Nick slipped back into his clothes. Funny, I don't remember telling you his name. Funny, I don't remember telling you his name. Nick slipped back. I'm pretty sure you did. How else would I remember? LOL. LOL. I guess not, replied Nick. They hopped up onto the baby Metroid and scanned the desert. In a matter of minutes, they had accomplished more than Nick had with Sonic over the span of multiple days. After a fast scan of the area, they saw the wreckage of a crashed ship. Down there! Exclaimed the Cage. They landed in the heap of twisted scrap metal. Nick jumped off of the stallion and examined it. He found bits and pieces of what were distinctly the inside of Shrek's asshole. He ran his fingers through a bit of green ooze on the top and took a small taste. Yeah, he was here. A trail of Shrek's shit led far away from the initial crash site. They followed it far outside of the desert into a nearby city. Gray concrete buildings towered over their heads. Ratty old air conditioners hung off the sides at street level. Smoke or fog. It's not smoke and fog. Smoke or fog.
That's a dealer's choice of your brain.
Covered the streets as neon lights blared Japanese words inside of windows. I want to reread that. That's a great sentence. Smoke or fog covered the streets as neon lights blared Japanese words inside of windows. The only sign in English was on the side of some form of office building reading, "Valued employee." It was odd, to say the least. That sure is a fucking cocky statement. After writing all this, you're going to say that was odd? Okay, golf dad. Maybe get off that pedestal. Maybe get off that high horse. Maybe get off that dope, that reefer, that devil's lettuce, that ganj. Because you're getting a little too big for your britches, mister. Let's keep reading. Valued employee. It was odd, to say the least. They couldn't help but notice one thing. Very few people wandered the streets. There was some strange-looking shopkeepers inside some of the street-level old electronic shops with wide grins that didn't seem to fade, but very little beyond that. They wandered the sidewalks cautiously. They came to some sort of roundabout where a tall replica of some Greek statue of a philosopher or warrior of some sort was erected, just like Shrek's peen, miles away from that city. Had they continued to follow the trail of shit that Shrek had left for them, they would have found themselves in a dense forest where Shrek... Wait, I'm a little confused. Did that just blast out of the city or something? Can I reread that? Would that be too much? Let me reread this. They couldn't help but notice one thing. Very few people wandered the streets. There were some strange-looking shopkeepers inside of the street-level old electronic shops with wide grins that didn't seem to fade, but very little beyond that. They wandered the sidewalks cautiously. Next paragraph. They came to some sort of roundabout where a tall replica of some Greek statue of a philosopher or warrior of some sort was erected, period, just like Shrek's peen, miles away from that city. Okay, so I guess they got out of the city and came across this giant statue which was erect like Shrek's peen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Had they continued to follow the trail of shit that Shrek had left for them, they would have found themselves in a dense forest, where Shrek was sitting at a campfire with no one else around. His anus still pounded from the ride back to Earth. He was dazed and confused. He figured he would never be found if he continued to wander aimlessly. He sat at the fire, staring deeply into it and reminiscing about the time he spent with Nick before everything went wrong. His massive overcock began to throb, and he just had to fap. His cock ripped out of his brown trousers and flopped onto his leather vest and burlap shirt. He leaned over and wrapped his lips around it, bobbing his head up and down, sucking his own goddamn dick. He didn't need anyone but himself, for fuck's sake. He twirled his plunger-shaped ears around his... He twirled his plunger-shaped ears around in his fingers as he tasted the vegetable flavor of his green bean. He twirled his plunger-shaped ears around in his fingers as he tasted his vegetable flavor, the vegetable flavor on his green bean. He went faster and faster, rolling his tongue around it time and time again. He let out a roar, and his cock exploded into his mouth, which was muffled by the gallons of cum being shot down his throat and out his ass. He passed out, fully satisfied by his results. Will Nic Cage and Samus Aran ever escape the city of sick ascetic? Will Shrek ever wake up? Probably. Will they ever reunite? Find out in the next thrilling chapter of Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage. And unfortunately, there are no more chapters. This has not been updated since 2015.
Yep.
But I gotta say, when last week I set out looking for some erotic fan fiction, this is precisely the quality of work I wanted to find.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted, and I'm glad we found this.
I mean, it was a wild roller coaster.
It was a wild ride for sure, and I think people should know about this. I think I'm going to put a link for this story in the description for this episode. So check out the description. You'll find a link to this story. It's great. Maybe we can get in contact with Best Fanfic 1110 and encourage them to continue their work. And also find out if they are indeed a Houston area golf dad.
Excuse me, sir. Please write another chapter. I know it's been 6 years. Also, are you a Houston golf dad?
I mean, this is the level of madness that I imagine, that I aspire to, were I to set out to write some really absurd, disgusting fan fiction. This is the level. Not that crack fix stuff.
Yeah.
That was just poor. And after the first chapter of this, they did get better about the tenses and everything.
Yeah.
It's not horrible. It's not horrible grammar, I should say.
I'm going to bet that was one of the review things. That they were like, hey, your tenses keep changing.
Yeah. And it seems like the first one, they probably just like blasted out like whatever. And then it got some response. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, okay, I'm actually going to put some thought into this.
Yeah.
And someone actually sat down and wrote this stuff. Thousands of words.
Yeah.
Someone wrote this series of Ultra Shrek X Nic Cage. And I would really like to meet this person. I'd like to talk to this person. If you or anyone you know knows who Best Fanfic 1110 is, please get in contact with me. Send me an email at thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. And while you're at it, become a subscriber at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames, because we are about to record a bonus episode for this week. And if you become a member, you could get access to it. We're going to be talking about a new documentary that recently came out, exposing a particular company that seems to be ruining the lives of thousands of families across the United States. It's a pyramid scheme. You've probably heard of it. And you'll have to stick around for the bonus episode to hear about it. But that's it for this free episode. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
I'm like blast off.